Looks like I've got a game really quickly. So let's jump right in. Where are we at? We are first turn, playing 3 scouts, and I'm not sure what I want to take right here. I'm not sure how I want to go this game. I see enough blue there that I'm worried about giving some blue economy so that the opponent could pick up those. So that's what's going to make my decision, even though it's just first turn. You know, I think I might as well take that too and see if I can control the decent economy that's on the board. Although, of course, that leaves recycling station for my opponent, although it's a little early for picking that up, I would think. And we have action. We have a fighter and an explorer. So what does that open up for us? This is a pretty expensive row. The only thing I can afford is the recycling station. Not really sure that I want that just yet, but on the other hand, do I want 2 explorers? It was the Imperial fighter, right? Yes, the Imperial fighter and an explorer are what my opponent picked up. So these early decisions are the ones that I have the most difficulty making. I think I'm going to pick that up mostly for a little bit of outpostiness and because I feel decent about the economy I have in my deck. So I'm going to do that and do the one to the head and see how that goes. I'm not sure if explorers would have been better, but since it was such an expensive flip and my opponent doesn't have much economy, I don't feel too bad about it. And we see the other starter hand and 2 more explorers are purchased. And now, of course, this is the time when I can't buy much, so I think I will pick up 1 explorer still. And 8. Yeah, I'm not really good at counting how many cards I have, and I can't take that into account. I'm not at that level yet. So let's make those purchases and that simple turn and see what we have. And now, what do I have in my deck? I have a trade pod, which has 3, 4, 5, 6. Probably, that would be 7 then, if I can pick that up. That would be enough for a mothership, which would not be too bad to start, although, yeah, I think I'm going to try for that so I can try and pick up the mothership before my opponent has a chance at it. And we have a little bit of purchasing power there, so they were able to pick up something decent. I can't ever remember which one is which. And Trade Escort is the one that was. And they don't have any other blues to faction with, so I'm not super worried about it. So we are going to do this, and we are going to cycle through 2 of our scouts and hope we can pick up that trade pod. Or am I going to get incredibly unlucky and pick that up? Yes, that's what I'm going to do, which means 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is not nearly as much as I wanted, and if I'd have known that, I probably would have done that differently. I do believe, oh, my 1 blue's here. Boy, this is an off day for me, isn't it? Well, hopefully that they will come into play at the same time next turn, and I will take that. And oh boy, that who gets there first? That could be a big deal. I have no combat, so that is the end. And next I flip the Federation shuttle and the trade pod. That is kind of interesting. And what do I have that I could get with that? As it stands, I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is enough to get command ship. Which means I am probably not going to use my recycling station to cycle through, just in case. I don't want to pick up a Viper there. That would kind of suck right now. Unless, of course, my opponent picks up the command ship. Then it's a different story, and I might cycle through just to get things moving faster. But I'm not sure I'm at a point where I need them. And what do we have from the opponent? I have to discard 1. That is very disappointing. Although 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is still enough there. So if I if I do this and I get these, I have 8. And Brain World is pretty damn good, but I want the draw from this, and I want to take that away from my opponent. And boy, it's another expensive card out here. So that's this turn. See what we get in the next one and what our opponent gets. Let's take a look at what they have, shall we? They have a lot of explorers. They have a trade escort and an imperial fighter. They're going to be able to pick up some of this expensive stuff before us, and they might beat us to this brain world. That would be a little bit disappointing. Don't particularly want to see that. And they might be able to scrap a couple of them to knock out the recycling station this turn. I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. And there's 2 of them. Are they going to get scrapped? And yes, that is what happened. I'm not surprised. And boy, that is not great. That is not great. Boy, 1 economy on that thing is just the survey ship. But you know what? I think I'd rather have it than putting 2 explorers in my deck, and I'd certainly rather have it than 1. So we will see. And boy, I certainly wouldn't mind some scrap, even though it's getting a little late for that. But maybe it'll still be of use. I've got a couple of bases to keep me around a little bit long. I'm not playing quite as aggressive as I would like to yet. I'm hoping that that command ship will help, and if I could scrap out 1 or 2 cards, and if I could get the brain world, that would really help with that. But it doesn't seem likely right now. 2, 3, 4 on my next turn is going to be nothing. I will probably buy a battle pod, and that will probably be it. What do I have, though? Yeah, it would work okay with my trade pod, but that's not very heavy at all. That's not very heavy at all in that. And opponent still does not have a whole lot going on either. We just both were stymied from being able to get any of the expensive stuff in the trade row. It's been kind of slim pickings. I'm a little bit happier with what I've picked up, actually. What are we going to see here? What are we going to see? We're going to see a lot of purchase power, and they got that mothership. I really wanted that mothership. Not too happy with that. Boy, I'm still slightly leading in damage, so I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull damage, and I am going to scrap this, and I'm just going to do a little bit that I can, pick up a battle pod. That should be it. I don't particularly want the barter world anyway, so let's end it. I don't care about my unspent trade. I've got enough stuff. And let's see, my next turn I do have a couple things I can scrap out of there, which is nice. 3, 4, 5, 6 points of spending. I can pick up that battle blob if my opponent does not get it first. And they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They would have to have a perfect draw to get that. I have a feeling that they won't, but we'll have to wait and see what they have flipped up. And of course, I didn't pay attention last time to see what they would get. I get a discard of 1, which means 3, 4, 5, 6. I hate to do it, but I am discarding a Viper so that I can afford to buy what I want to buy. Scrap a Scout. Yes, indeed. Play all those guys. Buy myself a Battle Blob. And that is my turn. Now, I'm going to faction my blue. That is very nice to see happen. And I will be drawing 2 and drawing 1. So I'm going to draw everything I have left here. Which means I'm going to want to do those draws early so I can get rid of these scouts, I think. Oh, here's one of those conversations about what you want to... don't know if I want to do all of those, because I might not want to get this whole shuffle thing. What else can he do? Oh, there is no target base to destroy, so that's a little bit disappointing. I don't have a choice but to use all of these, but I can choose not to use the Ooh, no. It's gonna happen before that, isn't it? So I'm going to be drawing 2, and then I'm going to be drawing 1 here, and then now I have 0. And do I want to do this shuffle? I have 3 greens in there. I'd kind of like to keep those grouped together. So I'm thinking that gives me, oh, I kind of don't want to then, do I? But see, this is where I don't understand what I should be doing all that well. Oh, I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that'll give me 8. I'm in fact going to take that and play all these guys. I will take myself a brain world, because scrapping up to 2 could be huge, and I could do a lot really quickly with that. And I will go ahead and not put that back into the pile. Do some damage, and then everything gets shuffled back together. And I'm going to get both of my blues out again at the same turn next time, so that is not too bad. It's not any of the other cool stuff that I wanted to see, but it is nice to faction those guys twice. That's going to be 4 more points of healing for me, and if he gets a base this turn, which I'm not even sure if he's picked up any bases. Oh, he did get the 1. Okay, there was the 1 base, and there's, oh, well, there's a blob wheel in here, but I'm discarding 1, and he picked up a battle mech. Doing a bit of damage with those guys. It looks like he's done with that. Let's see, 2, 3, 4. I have 3 or 4 purchase. I might buy the Imperial Frigate and then scrap it quickly. That's probably what I'm going to do. So let's see what I draw first. Oh, and I do not mind that at all. I do not mind that at all. That's another draw. That is a brain world. 2 cards from my hand or discard pile, and draw a card for each. And what do I have in my discard pile? So let's do that and do 1 with this scout and 1 with this scout. Scrap both of those guys out, and I get a couple more cards now. Got some ally abilities going on, and I've got a decent chunk of damage, and I've got 6 points of trade. I'm thinking, do I want to buy anything or not? I kind of... What is my average damage here? It's not super high. It really is not super high. So I think I'm going to get the frigate. And I think I'm going to, yeah, I will call that good. And I will do this. That will end my turn. Don't care about that unspent trade. I'm okay with that. Don't particularly love what's flipping on that hand, though. I would have loved to have seen my trade bot and gotten a little more scrapping before this next shuffle, but such is the way of things. And we see that blob world, and we see some stuff coming on here. I did lose my brain world. That is a little disappointing. And I'm going to get to scrap a card from the trade row. What do I want to scrap from the trade row right now? My opponent has a lot of economy and probably, would like to faction that red, I'm thinking. So I think I might get rid of the supply bot. Although I don't know. What else could they really use? What would hurt me if they got? They could faction yellow or blue. You know, I think I'm going to get rid of the... Oh, I don't know. It's a tough call. I think factioning the blue is probably the thing that feels the most dangerous to me. So I'm going to select the barter world. Might be a horrible, horrible call. It might. So I'm going to play these guys. I've only got 3 myself then, and I don't particularly want to change up what's here because none of it makes me feel really in danger. And I'm still leading on authority, so I'm going to still go combat and try and keep this game as quick as I can. If we were closer, I would go for authority because it's 1 more point than the damage, but I would rather keep the pace up on this one. And what do we have? We have more purchasing power, lots of it. He's going to have to scrap all of his explorers to take out my defense center and do 1 point of authority damage to me. It is, of course, a little bit disappointing because I would have been able to faction my Federation shuttle, so that kind of sucks. But, oh well, I'm going to scrap one of these scouts, and I'm going to play all of these guys. I don't know. I would not mind the draw of the blob fighter, so I think I'm going to go ahead and pick that up. I probably won't pick up anything else. Oh, it's another draw card, so I will pick that up, actually. And this is strange. I love the cutter, I really do. But I don't feel it's great in my deck right now. I'm getting a little bit too thick here. So I'm just going to call that a turn and ignore that 2 unspent trade that could have bought it. And I like to see this. I really do. I see several cards coming up that I like. And what do I have left in my deck to draw? I have cards that I'm probably just going to leave. I might not use my recycling state. Oh, I'm going to get 1 draw from the battle blob though. I think I'm going to have to see what my battle blob draws me before I decide whether or not. Oh, and he's going, so I should see what's happening here. And that is a turn. That's what that is. So I have to see what the battle blob draws. Oh, scrap a card in the trade row. Again, I'm not sure what they really want right now. They probably want, with 2 greens, they probably want more green. I'm not sure what else is going on. How many explorers do they have left? Not a whole lot. They cannot really buy the expensive stuff very easily now. So I'm thinking, scrap a hand in your... That junkyard is expensive for what it does, but I'm still a little bit worried about it. So, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and scrap the junkyard then. That's what I'm going to do. And it's a trade pod, which is, okay. And what do I have in here damage-wise? I would, oh man. Draw 2 cards would be huge. Those guys would all be huge. So, oh, 2 damage is more than both of these. So, I think I will go ahead and I will cycle my Vipers and see if I can get just a little bit more damage than that. And that is interesting. Draw 2 cards. And can use the brain world and do some scrapping. Scrap a scout and a scout. I get a couple draws for that. And what do I get there? Nothing super interesting. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to scrap him to draw a card. I'm going to play that, and what does he let me do now? Destroy target base. That makes that a little more useful, and then that gives me enough to get through. So that is the game. I think a lot of that is just that I got luckier on what was available during my turns than my opponent. Although I think my opponent might have gone a little too heavy in the economy once I started buying some heavy hitters. But good game to my opponent. Thank you very much, and I will see everyone in the next one. Boop.